Welcome to phase one of the Sonic Field. We have just installed the mower shed here where we'll keep our mower and some other supplies with gas. And we have just planted our little miniature pine grove. These are Eastern white pines, also known as Christmas trees. Pinus strobus. And I chose these because they are fast growing, 2 feet a year. So the tallest of these in 3 years will be 18, 20 feet. And that's going to provide us with a lot of really great screening from the road. The topography of this land is very steep. We're in a river valley bottom. So our neighbors and everyone else kind of sees right down into our business. So we're kind of mitigating that with some evergreens. Through here, we'll have an employee sort of break area with a big table. I just talked to Tyler about making a big table with some what we dubbed stump sitters. So we're just going to take some logs and carve out the bum part of the stump so they'll be comfortable to sit in, and probably a dry stacked fireplace area. And then over here, we'll probably build another little lean-to on the left side of the mower shed to put firewood. We're also planting the Eastern red cedar. I'm pretty sure that's what that is, which is really a juniper. And we've got 3 started over there, and then we've bookended over here too as well. And sometimes those are used as Christmas trees. So we should just call this the Christmas tree planting, and it's Christmas. So that makes sense, right? We also have sort of another grove that goes into an understory grove over here, probably with red buds and maybe some service berries and some dogwoods over here. And the reason for that is because we've got power lines. This segment of the property is, you've got power lines running every which way, and you can only plant things that get so high under the power lines. And we've also, you can see where we stopped the grove, and it feels kind of abrupt because of that. But we have plans to bring in some Royo junipers that only get 6 feet tall, and to plant them amongst the understory spring flowering trees. And I think that'll be a nice little segue into the deciduous flowering trees from this miniature pine grove. Originally, the road swooped? How do you say that? Swooped? What is the swept? Swept. Yes, thank you. Originally, the road swept further out into the field. And I was looking at it and I said, we're squishing a lot of our utilities up to the front to give more space for visitor experience. And so we put a few parking spaces up here. We're going to have the propane tank up here. Diesel tank up here, mower shed. And then I was like, why is the road cutting into our beautiful field, which we will be working with SGI to recreate a southern grassland? So I was like, let's move the road back. So we kind of squished the road this way to leave more room for nature. I have a special tree in mind for over here. Well, I have a tree in mind to plant that's special that will go sort of at the point where the service entrance meets the guest entrance. We're still figuring out the names for all this stuff. But I'd like for something kind of pretty. I don't know, maybe it's a weeping cherry, or maybe it's robinia. Something there on that corner that will be lovely. So when you turn, you'll have a little point there on the corner. Is there anything else to add? There's a lot more going on here in the Sonic Field, but this is phase one.
I think you're doing a great job of explaining everything. It looks beautiful already. Even since this morning, it's changed.
Right? It's so cool. It's amazing what plants can do. 100%. They bring something, you know. I did get these from Forest Nursery in McMinnville. I did a lot of searching to find 12-foot Pinus strobus. A lot of them have been pruned to look like Christmas trees. So, and we don't really want that. I don't really want that because I want this to feel as close to natural as possible. I'm hoping when this all matures, it's gonna feel good to walk through here These will get over time, like I said, the mature height of these puppies are like 60 to 80 feet tall. So, and then the branching rises up. So you'll basically be able to walk through trunks here. And I'm hoping to get either some Carex Pennsylvanica, which I think maybe this was a clump. There was a clump somewhere. Yeah. Or some evergreen ferns like in the forest floor. So, and again, there also will be some of the pine needles will drop. So it'll be I think it'll have a nice floor out here. So, and I'm excited about the table for, staff out here. It's going to feel good under this. This is a black walnut, and some things don't grow under black walnut. Yeah, there's only a handful of plants that will successfully grow under a black walnut because it's toxic. And I thought it would be cool. I was just talking with Tyler. I thought it would be cool. We'll make this table here. And he was suggesting making it out of walnut and just letting the walnut debris fall on the table and let that be the stain for the table over time. So I like that sort of temporal aspect in anything that we do. I love marking time through nature. So that's important to me.
So cool.
Yeah, I think it'd be neat. If there's anything else, I could talk more about like what we had to work around. Like I had to work around so many utilities. There were the electrical here and
logisticals.
the water line here. Like there's a lot, and there's still a lot more planned. So we're like, this is, like I said, stage 1, phase 1. But yeah, you can kind of tell where, like, here's the water line. This is the water line main, so we can't plant on top of that. We're going to have to rely on letting the canopy of the tree sort of close us in. So we'll have a direct view here because of that water line. And again, the power lines as well, working around that. And the slopes. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. We'll probably put some more cedars over there. These guys can tolerate more shadier conditions than like the shortleaf pine, which was a contender for this space. But I think the fast growth rate of these, and also they've got this bluish green color too that I love. You can see if you come really close in the light. I love this about this tree. I love this about this tree. Do you see
really wild.
The blue in there?
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
And you can really see it in there. So the
you
blue
can
green.
just tell it just looks different from afar too. And you can't really tell anything. It's such a beautiful plant.
Yeah, it's a great tree. It's used for lumber a lot.
That makes sense, especially if they're growing 60 to tall. They're gonna be
2 feet a year.
Monsters.
Yeah, so these will be 18, 20 feet in 3 years, which is ideal. Yeah. I think it feels good. It looks good. It looks like the model.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to work. If you and if you didn't see I'm not sure if you saw the model, but it might be interesting if you wanted to.
Oh yeah, I would love to see that.
I can show it to you. I'm really pleased, and these guys did a great job. They're pros. People think that you plant plants, you just dig a hole and you stick them in there, but it's not like, there are things that you should know and do when you plant a plant, especially a tree. If you plant it incorrectly, it shortens its lifespan. So, and keeping them straight. They're all beautifully straight. If you've noticed, like their handiwork is really, really on point.
Is that just a tribute to like the handling process, getting them to where they came from, in the ground?
Oh, I was talking about just the planting them straight up. Like some folks, like you'll see other landscape companies or whoever, like, yeah, and they don't look at it from all angles. Because you can look at it straight on and it's like, oh, that's straight. And then you walk, everybody plants everything straight on. But if you walk
especially on the hillside.
I know, they did a great job. They really did. They killed it. I love it. And I love it from this angle. I mean, we can walk around. I've decided to plant sumac here. And the reason I've decided to plant sumac right over here underneath this line is that this, I think this is Rus glabra, I think. So it's the, well, it's got tags on it. This is smooth. That's staghorn sumac. And I think this one is the smooth. But these things, what's great about this sumac is that they will shoot up 25 feet up. But if the power line guys get pissed about it, or should I say, if the electrical company needs to come and do service work, they will chop things. And it's okay if they chop this. It's not okay if they chop those evergreens. They could chop this down to the ground and this will sprout back up with the quickness. So we've got, you can't see them, but I've placed 4 back here and 2 here for more screening. And we will intersperse some of the arroyo, junipers, and dogwoods under this power line. So and here you can see yeah, I think it looks good. I'm pleased. Yeah, it's really coming along. Yeah, so this is kind of our little dip in the topography we built up. We graded a little bit here, and I marked some places. So come February, we'll do phase 2 of the screening and planting for the sonic field. And I'm going to put some more of the Pinus strobus that we have over here on this side. So we'll get some height and evergreen patch here. And we'll also plant 3 here. So it doesn't feel like we've just stamped an evergreen grove right in the middle of the field. I want it to feel a little bit more natural. And I feel like the way to do that is to not just concentrate them there, but maybe bring them out in some other spaces. This is the road that was made. And originally it just went straight. You can kind of tell it went out further and then curved back around this way. What do we say? Swerved? Swayed? Swayed? Swerved?
Just a curved road.
Just a curved road. We actually put that culvert in yesterday. We were walking the property and there was water right there, and Cole and Owen and I were looking at it like, well, we know where the culvert needs to go. I said, well, he's like, we could knock that out right now. I was like, really? And they said, yeah. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's knock it out. So we just did that yesterday. So we'll have more evergreens here. And then these are being planted. You can see some of these are planted in grade. So when you come in or when you're coming this way, there'll be more screening. You can kind of feel what it'll look like when these get bigger. These guys will tolerate more shade, but these will spread out and kind of create this evergreen blocking for what we're going to build down on the hill. And the idea is, and you can see this in the model too, we'll do more evergreen around this way, use some sumac around towards down the curve in the road. And I really think the sharp curve in the road here is going to help mitigate this really blank wide spot of an entrance we have here. But I think with this curve and the planting, it's going to help with that. This will probably be the, what's the shorter sumac? Oh my gosh, I'm going blank here. They have a grow low. It's a hybrid. It's not, I don't know if it's technically a native. It's a hybrid of a native. It's a dwarf of a native. So it's still the same kind of. We'll be planting some of these here. Some sumac. Sumacs get different sizes, like different ones. It depends on if it's fragrant, smooth, staghorn, or grow low. So it's anywhere from 25 feet down to, my height. And if you cut them even shorter. And the reason I chose a stump sumac like that is because I can keep a consistency and have it kind of grade down. So the plant height, as you turn this corner here, will start to move down so that your vista opens up around in this area. Because we have something kind of cool planned for that spot.
That's so cool. I was envisioning that as you were telling me. That's so wild.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, you can feel it. If you want to come over here and see it, I'm happy to just tell you the deal.
And then this will be all plain, right? This will be kind of that will just kind of lead into the
So So I'm designing this, I'm calling this the sonic field. And I'm going to work closely with SGI to recreate a grassland, to reimagine it. There's so much about grasslands that we don't know because we've lost like 99% of them. They were the most amenable to colonization and agriculture because they were easy to clear and to build on. So some of the information that we have about grasslands, the southeastern grasslands, comes from historical texts, from journals that people have written that describe the land. So it's a part reimagination of the spot, and it's also part historical research as well as ecological restoration. So we're collecting seeds for this area. We're making a plant list. We've got a burn procedure to help mitigate invasives. There's a lot going on here, and this is going to be a several years long project. I'm planning to mound up some areas because this is going to be a walking meditation field. So after we get all the native plants back here and reimagined, it'll be a spot to, I don't know, to reflect or to be grateful or to grieve or to laugh at yourself in the universe, however your meditative walk might decide to use you.
Beautiful things to speak into existence.
Yeah.
This will be a wonderful place to do all this.
Yeah. So yeah. I've been hanging out with the topography here a lot because I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna, and every time it rains, I come out and just check out what's going on with the squishy. We call it the squishy spots.
Yeah.